Yes, yes, yes. You already know what it is. It's episode 8 of Fight Night Chronicles. This is everybody's favorite news show, and I dig it, and I know why. You know, uh, shout out to my co-host in the building with me, the classy one, Mr. Neutral. He's with me. He's rocking out with me. Uh, we're here, and I'm the commissioner, aka Trill. How you doing, Mr. Neutral? How's everything going?
Everything's fine, my mate. Thank you. I hope you had a wonderful Christmas and a great New Year. Uh, it's 2026. We're back in the hot seat. Fight Night Chronicles, episode 8.
Mhm.
And yeah, let's kick it off with another fantastic episode. And what a fight between these two. It was a long time coming, Trill.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, Trey. The duel is back. The dynamic duel is back.
yes.
The commissioner and the classy one. You already know what it is, and we thank you. Yours truly, Trey, for being in the comment section, showing that love. And we're here. Yes, that's right, Mr. Neutral. It's been a long time coming. We took a little vacation. We took some time off. You
Yeah,
know,
man. Yeah,
yeah.
you got to do it.
Yeah, and the people was on our back. They was like, "What we gonna do? What we gonna do when we coming back?" And yes, we are back with the super fight, the World Middleweight Championship, one of the
Yeah.
most controversial fights in boxing history. That will go down as such as one of those. This was a big fight. This was a big fight. Ray once said that he wasn't gonna fight him. Then he said he was gonna fight him. You know, this was a good fight. It was like, who was you gonna pick to win type of fight? Everybody, some people pick Hagler, some people pick Ray. This was one of those fights. This is one of those fights, and I think this is going to be one of those great episodes. Bringing this back. How you doing, Mr. Neutral, my brother? This was a good
Absolutely fantastic. Yeah, I remember 1987 very well. 19 years of age. Super excited for this fight. It was, as I said before, it was a long time coming. These two have been sort of trading words since 1982, just before the Tommy Hunn's match with Hagler. As we featured in episode 7. And just to all the fans out there, if you want to check out any of the episodes, go to iBoxingHub, and while you're there, give them a like and subscribe. It's absolutely free and it's painless. It really is. I've tried it. It's just a click of a button. It's fantastic and it's liberating. And when you do that, you go and watch all the episodes. You can see how we've built up to this fight here. In the pattern and the times line of the 80s, and this fight was probably the most anticipated fight of the decade. Such was the Leonard's suave, sophisticated style, and Marvin Hagler, who was just an absolute destructive machine in the ring. But he had a very hectic career, 66 fights. Incredible stuff. But, leading up to this fight, they tried to make it before, as I said. But Sugar Ray Leonard was always the key to this fight, Trill, I felt, because Marvin Hagler, he was always there with the belts. He was the undisputed middleweight champion, WBA, IBF, and WBC. That was what you were considered undisputed, and it also helped that Marvin Hagler was the lineal champion. So when it come to this fight in itself, just be jumping a bit to pre-fight. The IBF said that they'd sanction the fight, but if Hagler lost, the title would become vacant. The WBE stripped Hagler of the belt because taking the Leonard fight would mean that he would bypassed Harold Bomber Graham, a British middleweight, who was the mandatory to Marvin Hagler. So in this in event, when it come to the fight itself, it was only for the WBC and the lineal belt. But as I said before that, they tried to make this fight so many times, and it all was on Leonard. So we got some clips to show you in the pre-fight build-up to this fight, and explain a little bit of why it took so long to get these two in the ring.
Definitely, definitely. And people have got to remember, like Marvin Hagler, we just got to break down both fighters for you guys that's watching. But Marvin Hagler is the ultimate middleweight brawler. That's what he was known for. Known for his granite chin and relentless pressure, powerful jab, devastating hooks, and ability to switch stances from southpaw to orthodox. He was an undisputed champion at his peak. You know what I'm saying? When he was going up against in Ray. And you got Sugar Ray Leonard, an elite multi-division champion with incredible speed, reflexes, dazzling footwork. He was inspired by the greats like Ali and Sugar Ray Robinson, and the ability to switch gears from boxer to puncher. He was, and he was coming off a layoff and making his middleweight debut at 160. That was at Hagler's weight. So there was a lot going on in this fight, Mr.
Absolutely. And, the media, if I can just go to the media, 90% of the media had Hagler as the favorite, and rightly so, because they were worried about a 3-year layoff, going up 2 weight divisions. He'd already retired twice. He retired after I think it was not the Bruce Finch, excuse me, I'm trying to remember. I'll have to look it up now, because usually I've got these things off the top of my head, but it was after Thomas Huns that Sugar Ray Leonard, sorry, Hagler was waiting around, but for Sugar Ray Leonard, he had retired Kevin Howard, that was it, in 1984, because he felt that he was terrible. He was so dissatisfied with his performance against Kevin that he retired, and again that set back this fight with Marvin Hagler, and as we know, and we'll show you some clips, you can see why, because Hagler was the one that was needed for this fight. Sorry, Leonard was the one that was needed for this fight. And he was sort of playing games, but some people were saying it's playing games. He had his reasons. He had injuries. It's not the first time that he had to postpone a fight through injury, Leonard. So, and he wanted this fight on his own terms. He wanted a 22-foot ring. He wanted 10-ounce gloves instead of 8-ounce gloves. And he wanted 12 rounds instead of 15. Leonard's lawyer, Mike Trainer, said it's 12 rounds or nothing. But what they did is they conceded the largest share of the purse to Marvin Hagler, plus TV rights. And so Hagler made about $20 million out of this fight. And Leonard around the $12 million mark. But Leonard took some close sucker TV rights with him, Maryland and another state, I can't remember which, at that time. So, they both done quite well out of it. But in conceding the ring size, the gloves and the rounds to Leonard, I felt that on hindsight, after the fight, these could have been the crucial factors that cost him the fight, as we'll see when we go through the fight. But back to you, Tro.
No, definitely. I was just looking at this comment from Trey. No tune-ups too. The mindset back then was so different to most fighters now. Normally, fighters nowadays would take a tune-up after a long layoff.
Yeah,
you're absolutely right. These guys was warriors. These guys was dogs. Me and Mr. Neutral was talking before the show started. It was just a different era then. These guys hold themselves like gentlemen.
Look at the way they're dressed.
Exactly.
Look how the way they spoke. They never cussed.
This was a gentleman's sport.
Gentleman's sport.
Yeah, it became circus when people, it just became just about the money. When it turned to just about the money, this became a different type of act, like a circus act, the respect, and I'm gonna make up a word, gentlemanism.
Absolutely.
Like gentlemanizing. You know what I'm saying?
Fantastic.
Went out the window. You know, it
Yeah,
went out the window. So it definitely was a different time. These guys was a different time. They wanted to fight the best. This had nothing to do with. It had something to do with money, but it also had to do with legacy and pride and wanting to fight the best and wanting to put yourself up against the top guys. So my hat goes off to these guys, and I just wanted to back up the things that you were saying. As far as what the fight was going on, because Hagler had a plan in that fight. You know what I'm saying? His plan
he
was,
did.
yeah, his plan was definitely to cut off the ring and overwhelm Leonard with constant pressure and power and force him into a brawl that Leonard couldn't win. That was his plan.
Oh, absolutely. But do you know what, Leonard? He's a crafty one. Right. What happened? 3-year layoff. He's going up 2 weight divisions. He's doing a Crawford, in effect. Going up against the machine that was Canelo, what considered was Canelo, but I don't think Canelo was ever in Hagler's, sort of sphere of brawlness. He was a real brawler. But Leonard was very, very a high IQ boxer. And what he did is he had 4 mini tune-ups before the fights in private against top 20 guys. Now, this was unbeknown to Hagler and the media at the time. It only come out afterwards. And Leonard was 4-0 in his comeback at middleweight against 4 tune-up guys of top 20 caliber and knocked them all out. And this was a part of an explanation as how Leonard done so well in this fight. Where really he should have had no chance. Absolutely no chance. A welterweight coming up to middleweight, 3-year layoff and 2 division jump. Come on. You had to be a madman to give Leonard a chance in this fight.
And Leonard had a plan also. You know what I'm saying?
He did.
He said, use the entire ring, invade Hagler's attack, land quick, flashy combinations and steal rounds with visible bursts of action, distorting the judge's perception of the fight. So that's what it is. And definitely, like I said before, we wanted to back up some of the stuff that you were saying when you was talking about, how, this fight was made and how they didn't get a chance for it to be made. And I also wanted to thank everybody that's locked in with us right now. Please like and subscribe to the channel. We're going to get into a couple of videos right now just to back up some of the things Mr. Neutral was saying when he was talking about how the fight didn't take place when it was supposed to, like it was supposed to happen a long time ago. They've been flirting with the idea of both of these gentlemen getting in the ring and mixing it up. But Ray, master of the mind games, I would like to say, but also he was actually flexing his muscle. To me, I was feeling like he was the star back then. He was the A side, and he picked and chose when he wanted to fight and who he wanted to fight and when he wanted to fight him. A lot of people had discussed with Ray at that time. That was back then, though. Even Duran talked about, why you didn't fight me, back to base. I'm the champion. I can fight you when I want to. Because after he beat him with the no Mars situation, they were supposed to get it on again. You know what I'm saying? But right after that. But he didn't want to. You know what I'm saying? Because he didn't have to. So he fought when he wanted to, and like with the Aaron Pryor situation, you've seen it before. People wanted him to fight Aaron Pryor. He said, made this big speech and said, nope, it's not going to happen. So yeah, once again, we're going to bring it back to them. So shout out to the one and only Sugar Ray Leonard, and shout out to the marvelous one, Marvin Hagler. We're going to get into those videos right now. And shout out to Mr. Neutral for mentioning that as well.
I was 25 years old. I didn't want to quit. But because of who I was, there was mass hysteria that I was willing to risk my eyesight.
He said, man, you got to be crazy. You got to be stupid. Come on, we're going to fight again. You can go blind. You got enough money, got a nice family, give it up.
If Ray Leonard does decide that's enough, I've had it, I'm not going to have a go at my...
You got to make some of that money. I'm tired of people telling me how generous he is and how good friends we are. If I'm such a good friend, give me that big payday then. That's what we want. We want to show real artists and everything else out there, and I believe that it's us that can do it. All right.
I like that. Mike, trying to sign me up.
With Hagler's hopes running high, Leonard invited Muhammad Ali, Howard Cosell, and 10,000 other friends and fans to a gala ceremony in Baltimore's Civic Center. For Hagler's camp, the personal request of their presence could only mean one thing.
We figured that he invited us down to make the official announcement to the world that he was going to challenge Marvelous Marvin Hagler.
And as I stand here, in 1 second, I'll tell you exactly what I'm going to do.
And we sat there with that anticipation as Leonard led us down the primrose path.
To Marvin Hagler, a fight with this great man, this great champion, could be one of the greatest fights in the history of boxing.
And when we got to the end of the primrose path, he cut off our head.
But unfortunately, it'll never happen. Thank you, and God bless you all. Thank you.
See how much he had the world in his hands. He had the power. And everyone was expecting that fight to be made, and he toyed with Marvin Hagler. He toyed with the media, the public. The guy was a PR machine.
Yeah, that was beautiful. It's hard not to watch that and not laugh. You know what I'm saying? It's like you set the moment up. You know what I'm saying? You set the moment right up. And you say, but it's not going to happen.
Did you see Howard Cosell's face in the background? He's like that. What?
It took the air out the
He's got everybody there. He's got only to tell them all. It'll never happen.
It took the air right out the room.
That is how you sell a fight. And as I was saying to you beforehand, you know, before we aired, it showed you the class and when fighters sold a fight, not the promoters, not the media, not the fans, the fighters. And that's why they were paid so handsomely. Absolutely fantastic PR there. But of course, you know, as we all know, the fight did happen. Yeah. And that shot that we seen where Marvin Hagler was saying, give me the payday, because Leonard was ringside. Mm-hmm. And that fight was John Mugabe. Remember John Mugabe? Fantastic boxer. And Leonard had no intention of, you know, coming out of retirement until he seen that fight. And that was where he felt that Hagler struggled with his speed. He'd seen Hagler faster and he went, oh no, he slowed down. I can take him. And that was the that interview there was the precipice of that fight happening. Absolutely fantastic. But he knew how to play everybody.
In the play, and I'm glad that you mentioned that when he said, I'm your friend, and then give me a payday, because that's how it was back then. Not nowadays. Oh, I'm not gonna fight him because we were buddy in the gym, and I met him, and we were buddy. Now we're not gonna fight. No, this was different back then. If you was my friend and you respect me so much, then let me get some bread. Let's get in there and mix it up. You know what I'm saying? That was different. These guys was built different. These guys was warriors. But yeah, we're gonna get into what you said, because the fight did happen. The fight did happen.
People ask me, "So you coming back?" I said, "No, I'm not coming back." But if Marvin Hagler called me, I consider something like that.
Wait about it.
I'm not saying, no, JB, listen, we're talking here. I'm not saying I'm coming back. I said if he should call me, it's something I could really consider.
I was home watching TV. They said Sugar Ray Leonard will be fighting Marvin Hagler. I said, what?
You may or may not have heard that Mr. Leonard to my left has said that he will come out of retirement to fight Marvin Hagler if Marvin Hagler will fight him.
I called my brother. I said, Ray, is that true? He said, yeah. I said, well, who gonna be the warm-up guy? He said, I ain't got no warm-up fight. I'm going straight to him.
But the now 32-year-old Hagler wasn't as anxious as before. Undefeated for 11 years and just 2 victories short of matching the record 14 middleweight title defenses. The veteran champion took his turn to play games.
And now there's talk that you might not fight him. Is that true?
Well, you know, right now it's really hitting a lot of press. I think basically just has an ego. He's on an ego trip or something. Maybe a little jealousy, or he's missing the limelight a little bit. But the way that I feel about it, I'm just going to sit back and I'm just going to lick my chops. Like that. And just wait.
Marvin, it took a long time to convince him to take the fight. He didn't need the fight. He could retire. But such was the power of Ray Leonard that once he started banging the drum, everyone was calling out Marvin Hagler. Aren't you going to fight him? The guy's been retired for all these years. You got to fight him.
Good to my father said, Marvin, let's fight him, beat him, and go off into the sunset.
After that, I really would have said, okay, I achieved everything that I wanted in this boxing life, and now I can retire and live happily ever lasting. What a great story, you know. That's what I was hoping for.
Didn't happen. We're gonna get it. We're gonna get into the fight. This was.
But
one of
it
those
just
things.
highlighted what he said there. Leonard had the power. He was, you know, everybody danced to the tune of Sugar Ray Leonard. Such was his prevalence as a star's power. It was awesome to you know, to watch it. Just how much he held everyone in the palm of his hands, including an undisputed middleweight champion. It's incredible.
Yeah, even Hagler tried to play cool, but the pressure from Ray in the star power of Ray was just too much. Even when he was doing the casual interview, he did it so smoothly. Like, I'm not saying that I will. I'm just saying if they would call me, you know, I would consider. You know? And he smiled at him. It was just, like I said, it was just a different time. And the pressure was just too much. Yeah, Hagler could have right off in the sunset, but he wanted this. He wanted this fight.
He wasn't that kind of guy, was he? He wanted to beat this man and then say, that's it. I've done all I can do. No one else can beat me. And it looked at that time that there was no alternative to Hagler until Sugar Ray Leonard.
Yeah, and then this was a great fight, one of the great fights. And we're gonna mention these guys because, you know, we mentioned the Four Kings, and we already covered some of the fights of the Four Kings, and we will actually cover more, you know, because these guys have been in some great, memorable fights. We're gonna get right on to the fight right now, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for everybody that's coming on right now and is watching Fight Night Chronicles. Please like and subscribe to the channel. And before we get into these fights, I want to say a big shout out. Okay, what you guys say something, Mr. Neutral?
Oh no, you finish first, and then I'll just say something after.
Okay, yeah, please subscribe to the channel, and while you're at it, please subscribe to Red Corner Boxing as well. That's our channel we partner up with. That's our partners in crime, and you know how we rock it. Mr. Neutral's over there with our brother James and everything. So make sure you go over there and show them some love. Before we get into the fight, yes, yours truly, Trey. You got your popcorn ready. But speaking of yours truly, Trey, before we get into this fight, I wanted to send a special happy birthday out to you, my brother. Happy birthday.
Yes, happy birthday, tremendous Trey of iBoxingHub, the man, the legend.
Birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Terrible singers we are.
Yeah. So shout out to my bro, tremendous Trey, always leading the way for us over here at the iBoxingHub family. So shout out to you. And you hear Sav singing happy birthday in the back.
Sav singing as well. Savage.
You already. But yeah, we're gonna get into this fight. Mr. Neutral, what were you about to say?
I was just gonna say to the fans, when you scoring is crucial here because it comes up at the end of the fight. Obviously, you get the score. But if you always wonder why it's controversial, this fight, score the fight as you go along. It's going to be crucial at the end for you. Thank you, John. Trill.
The one loss record of Sugar Ray Leonard, of course, the one mar on that record by Roberto Duran, a defeat which he avenged just a few months later. And the record of the champion, 62 up, 2 down, the 2 draws, 52 knockouts.
Lost those 2 fights 11 years ago. 2 issues in this tale of the tape. One has been Hagler's age. A lot of people suggesting he's older, but some people have gone back into the records in Newark and found his birth certificate. He is 32. And of course, Ray at 158 pounds, what we're wondering about, can he carry that weight? And here is Punch Stat. Now look at the fighters, a profile of what they've done in other fights. And you can see that Hagler is a more offensive-oriented fighter, has thrown more punches per round. But of course, we don't know what Leonard has now. There are the jabs they threw, Leonard throwing more jabs consistently.
And we'll take a look at the rules in this fight. Remember, the fight will be 12 rounds, 10-point must system.
Yeah, right there we got the tail of the tape of both gentlemen. Like I said, these guys it looked like they was matched evenly. You know, the age. I find that funny. You know, people question the age.
Yeah, that kills me. That is it to try and you know. I don't understand that. The guy, 32 years of age, and getting people's question. I mean, he's not Sonny Liston, for crying out loud, who looked clearly 40 when he was allegedly 32. But, you know, Hagler, he had 68 fights. They have to go back and check his birth certificate. Come on.
They had to go all the way back to Jersey, find his birth certificate to make sure he was really the age that he said he was.
That's horrible.
DJ for reposting the stream.
Shout out to CJ. How are you? Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah. So
I met CJ, by the way, in Derby. Great lass.
Awesome. And shout out to everybody too that's locked in with us. Please like and subscribe. Now we are gonna lock into the fight, ladies and gentlemen. Please enjoy.
I want to caution you again. Obey my commands at all times. Shake hands and good luck.
Good. This has been a very professional presentation from the very beginning since it was signed. The fighters have acted in very professional style. Let's see what happens now.
Ray Leonard said that the first round is going to be the most important round of the fight. He says he has to win the first round and gain marvelous respect. Let's see if he can do it. And here we go.
They are the tabbed variety with the thumbs attached to the body of the glove.
First punch by Hagler. Clean miss. Nice combination by Leonard.
Left landed by Hagler. His first heavy punch of the fight.
Much better as a southpaw, Tim. That's why I don't understand him giving Leonard the first 2 rounds. Come on, punch it out.
Right hand out of the clinch from Sugar Ray Leonard. Right hand lead score.
Good combination by Leonard, Tim. Right hand, left hook. Looks like Leonard to me is going to nail Hagler the other way around.
Good move by Leonard out of that corner. Hagler thought he had him there. Now Leonard scores the combination. Confidence seeming to build as each second of the fight ticks away.
Good body shots by Hagler, though, Tim. They're hard punches.
Hagler's body punches. Gotta land them. A little showboat punch from Leonard. Good combination again. Leonard timing things perfectly. Good right hand by Leonard. Hagler trying to pull him into the corner, but Leonard will not go.
Looks like Leonard is starting to find the range more with his right hand. There it is again. Leonard is fighting. Tim, he's looking to nail Hagler. Got nailed himself that time with that right hook. Hagler's starting to get the range a little bit now.
Leonard got him in the corner, landed a left.
Just was starting to get the range.
The conditioning of these two athletes is extraordinary. Hagler's solid right by Hagler.
He's starting to get the range, Tim. You could just see it.
That one forced Leonard to grab him. No question, Gil. Inside by Ray.
We seldom said. Listen, I'm
Look
watching
at that.
Listen, I'm watching the first half of the fight, man. This was crazy.
As you can see,
they come on, Marvin.
as you can see from them highlights, that Hagler, that you can see why Leonard asked for a 22-foot ring. He was absolutely using every inch of that ring in the first 5 rounds. Now, what was crucial the first 2 rounds, which she didn't show you very much, was that Hagler went orthodox. Now, that was very surprising, first and foremost, because every previous fight, he's always started in southpaw style. He's only switched during the fight. But this was the first time he'd ever started a fight in orthodox style. And he paid the price the first 2 rounds because he just couldn't get anywhere near Leonard. Leonard was popping shots off in combinations. It was beautiful to watch. But round 5, I'd given Leonard the first 4 rounds. Round 5 was the first round to give Hagler because he started to find his range. He started to close the gap to Leonard. And by this time, Leonard was starting to slow down. He's starting to plant his feet from here on from this point onwards, Joe. But mate, it was living up to every inch of super fight status.
It was like Ray was getting him. Oh my goodness, man. You see me scream, right? I'm sitting here, I'm speechless. I'm watching this fight.
He was frustrated.
This was crazy.
Mad.
Marvin Hagler was trying to get to him, and as Ray was as he got to Ray would let off a combination and then he'll get up out of there. And then Marvin Hagler was trying to go and catch him. He was like he was trying to catch him. He was trying to throw one punch. As soon as he land a punch, Ray would throw a flurry, get up out of there. And then finally, he, like you said, the 5th round, it seemed like he finally hurt. He got to Ray. But Ray was still able to. He was landing those flashy shots. He had the crowd going behind him. It was crazy. It was exciting. This was really big. I'm excited right now.
Yeah, he was using every trick. He was rope-a-dope open. Hagler dancing around the ring. He had Hagler in his pocket at this point. He's 4 rounds to 1 up. We got to the end of round 5 there. He's absolutely in control of this fight. Now, going back to some of the judges' cards at this point, Judge Lou Filippo incredibly gave by round 5 had Hagler up by a round. Judge Jose Wanguera, who was absolutely vilified after this fight, had Hagler 4 rounds to 1 down. And Judge Dave Moretti, as we know today from Nevada State Athletic Commission, he had a similar score to Juan Jose Guerra, 4 rounds to 1 in favor of Sugar Ray Leonard at this point. Back to you, Tro.
Nah, thank you for the data, Mr. Neutral, because I'm with you, and I'm with the judges. I'm with David Moretti as well. I thought, like you said, Mr. Neutral, I thought that Mr. Leonard had Hagler in his back pocket. I like that analogy because he definitely had his number, and it was a reason why he wanted those 12 rounds too, because he couldn't fight at this pace. This was smart work by Sugar Ray Leonard, man. And if y'all wondering why I'm so excited and I came back on here screaming after these rounds, please go watch the fight in its entirety, and then you'll get to know the reason why I'm over here going crazy. You know what I'm saying? And which is fair. 4-1 is up. I'm with you, Trey. This is one of those ones. Let's get to the ending of this fight, 6-12.
Solid punches by Hagler. Hagler finding the range, and Ray more flat-footed here, now backed up into the Hagler corner.
Look at how slow Hagler is.
Hagler just keeps plodding ahead as he works the next style.
Those are the solid punches.
Yep.
Those are the solid punches. You guys waiting a little trouble.
Bang into the body. Uppercut scored at the bell. They don't hear the bell. The end of round 7, the crowd on its feet. to the chin. That's where he has to put that left in. Leonard in some difficulty, hasn't thrown a punch out of this corner. Now he does. Trying to bang his way out.
Look at that determination on Ray Leonard. You talk about a champion.
What a display.
Absolutely gritted his teeth. Look at him go.
Again, in the middle of the ring, and Hagler stays there and punches back. A right by Leonard. Dave Moretti from Las Vegas, Lou Filippo from Los Angeles. And
So slow getting off Hagler. He's got the shot. Beautiful combination by Leonard. Oh, good straight left hand by Hagler.
Look at Leonard just able to pick up the punches, move his head, and escape most of them. And Leonard flurries against Hagler, and now escapes from the corner.
I don't think he's giving this round away, though. Sugar Ray, you know who the fans think are winning the fight.
Less than a minute to go in the fight. Now Hagler with a little showboat. Some shuffle back from Ray. But also showing that psychologically and physically now he's in control. Leonard busy on the rope. Hagler trying
There'll
to
be
keep
no
him there.
knockout. No knockout.
Leonard in the corner at the end of this fight, but on his feet.
And Judge Dave Moretti scores 115-113. By the winner, by a split decision, and new middleweight champion of the world, Sugar Ray Leonard.
Ray knew he won that. Ray knew he won that. The crowd was saying, "I'm with you. I'm with you." What a fight, Trey. This was amazing. This was amazing. Please, everybody, if you get a chance, please go back and watch this fight in this entirety. You seen where Hagler started coming on late, but then the dog in Ray. Ray was a dog. He wasn't all just flash. You know what I'm saying? When he started to slow down, he wouldn't just get pounded on. He showed that he had some heart, started fighting back. That had the crowd going crazy. I think even the crowd probably persuade, the judging a little bit, but you know what I'm saying? It was just seeing this man that was considered coming up in weight and having fought in 3 years, fighting the guy who was supposed to already have him out already, and he was being a dog in there. Hagler was coming on. He was bringing that pressure. He was putting those paws on it. But then it seemed like Hagler thought he had it in the bag, kind of, and he let Ray steal these rounds. He let him steal, and he definitely let him steal the 12th and final round. He came on late, but he definitely let Ray steal the 12th and final round. What do you think, Mr. Neutral, about this exciting fight?
It brought back memories. Round 6 to 12 it was just amazing. It went on forever. I thought it was never going to end. Because it was beauty versus the beast, wasn't it? The sweet science of Sugar Ray Leonard versus the brawler, battering ram that's Marvin Hagler. And it's the contrast in styles that made this fight. When people say styles make fights, they're absolutely correct. Them two completely different styles made that super fight in 1987. Now, Hagler, as he always comes through strong every fight, until he's knocked his opponent out. You never know when this man's going to end. And as you can see there, but he punched himself out in the last round. You can see that his punches that were connecting with Leonard were having no effect because all his power had sapped at that time. However, going back to the scorecards, the first judge, as I said before, Lou Filippo, had it 115-113 for Hagler. He'd given Hagler rounds 7, 8, 9, 10, and rounds 3, 4, 5, which I find hard to agree with. If we can forget Jose Juan Huera, he said Hagler only won 2 rounds in that fight. That was nonsense. So we can discard him. And he, you know, and funnily enough, we story about him that Hagler had already turned down the judge from Britain, who had been a judge at the Alan Minter fight, you know, that infamous fight where all the bottles were coming in the ring. He'd been a judge that night and wasn't happy with him. So when he was named a judge for this fight, he objected. And then Juan Jose Herrera come in and went against him, of course, with 118, 110. But David Moretti, he was probably the judge that had it most closest and correct. As we said before, the first 4 rounds he'd given to Leonard, then he gave Hagler the 5th. He gave Leonard the 6th, but he gave Hagler the 7th, 8th, and 9th. Now, I don't agree with that. I thought that Leonard, especially for me, had won the 8th and the 9th. But he'd given it to Hagler, but he gave Leonard the 10th and the 11th, and he gave Hagler the 12th, which I find hard to believe. Hence his 115, 113 card. I had it 116, 112. That to me was a fairer outcome because Leonard stole the match. For me, he was 7 rounds up at round 9, and it wasn't. Hagler left it too little, too late. And you could see all the reasons. The greatest question is, how did Leonard last 12 rounds? And as I said before the fight started, he had 4 tune-ups that nobody knew about, 6-rounders against top 20 guys, and knocked them all out. And it was those experiences that given the stamina, the willpower, and you can see the willpower that he had in him. As you quite rightly said, he was not going to go down. He stood there and traded with the most dangerous middleweight in the world in the last 5 rounds, the center of that ring. And it was a joy to watch. It really was. And at the end of that fight, I was a massive Leonard fan. I was a Hagler fan because he beat my man, Alan Minter, in 1980. So you always go with the man that beats your man, don't you? And then until he gets beaten. And Ray Leonard, he went on to become a 5-weight world champion. But you know, there's a funny aftermath story with this event, and is that Leonard had promised Hagler a rematch. Okay. And Leonard decided to retire for a 3rd time.
Hagler was disgusted with the sport.
Disgusted. He was pissed. He wanted that get back. And in June 1988, Hagler had enough. He was tired of waiting around. Just a year later, he was tired of waiting around. Leonard was playing games again, and with his retirement. So he retired in June of 1988. Mm-hmm. A month later, Sugar Ray Leonard announced his comeback to fight 168 pounds against Donny Lalonde. And when Leonard finally offered Hagler a rematch in 1990, 3 years later, Hagler had lost all his interest in boxing. He'd actually become an actor in Italy. He'd moved to Italy with his family, became an actor. And he said a while ago, yeah, I wanted him so bad, but I'm over that. And we never got to see that rematch.
Nah, we never got to see that rematch. Everybody talks about after the fight as well, you know, Hagler being disgusted with the sport. But people also was making excuses if this fight was 15 rounds because Hagler was dancing after the fight. He was dancing and he was shaking and, you know what I'm saying, bopping and thinking that he won.
Yes.
He thought that he won. He thought that he did enough to win that fight. And he thought that, you know what I'm saying, he had more energy left in him. He thought that Ray was fading, and people thought that if there was more rounds, you know, he definitely would have stopped Ray, you know. But
yeah, we can go to the press opinions, you know, after the fight. ABC's Howard Cosell had 117, 112 Leonard. Bob Arum had it 7-5 Hagler. Associated Press had it 117, 112 Hagler. Sugar Ray only won 4 rounds. This was the variety in some of the scoring. And this is why boxing is an objective, subjective
Exactly. It's
sport.
one of those sports that, you know, is objective. It's what you see. I thought that maybe you could have gave Hagler 4 or 5 rounds. That's what I thought. Being the commissioner, I gotta be fair. You know what I'm saying? 4 to 5 rounds. You know what I'm saying? You can push. You can push for Hagler. I think that he spent a lot of time. He gave up the first 2 rounds. We know that, but then he gave up to me the first 4 rounds as well. You know, and then after that, I think he gave up. He won the 5th, but he gave up the 6th. I think he was looking for one big shot, and it got to the point where he was following Ray instead of cutting off the ring. And then it got to a certain point where Ray was just able to land shots before he could land a shot. So his flurries, even though they wasn't hurting him, because there was times where Marvin Hagler was smiling. Like Ray landed a 5-punch combination, and Marvin Hagler just smiled. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He was like, "Come on." He was like, "Come on, fight me." And Ray said, "No." He shook his head, "No." He was like, "Come on, let's fight." You know what I'm saying? Ray said, "No." You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. That's got to be one of the very first, especially in my experience, early, experiences of seeing someone dance and move around the ring like that. We see it a lot today, where what people will call running, but it's the sweet science. And as I said before, the sweet science met the brawler, and the fact that Hagler was running around a 22-foot ring for 12 rounds must have felt like 15 rounds in an 18 by 18 ring that he was used to fighting in. 2020 was only one time that he'd ever fought, but 22 by 22, this ring was massive. And this was one of the factors that won Leonard this fight. He needed that room to outmaneuver Hagler, where sweet science met physics, and physics lost.
Yeah.
The man who's supposed to be bigger, stronger, is supposed to beat this man lighter, coming up in weight. He's got no experience at middleweight other than his tune-ups, but competitively in the ring, it's non-existent. And for him to do what he'd done after a 3-year layoff, it's just beggars belief. And, he's 30 there, and he's already got receding hairline. If anyone needs his bloody buff certificate checked, it was Sugar Ray Leonard.
Yeah.
But, boxing ages you very, very quickly in this sport.
Yeah, it does. It does. That's why they say, it's a youthful in sport, but yeah, the classic boxer versus the brawler matchup, that's what this was. Hagler, the relentless, powerful middleweight king, against Leonard, the smaller, faster, supreme skilled former welterweight champion, making his middleweight debut. Leonard employing his tactics, using his speed and stunning movement and flashy flurries to steal rounds, winning a controversial split decision despite Hagler's aggression and power, proving size and style weren't everything. Like you needed a little bit more, and that's what happened with Sugar Ray Leonard in this fight against Marvin Hagler, which was one of the great fights. And I want everybody to go. We'll speed through it for everybody that just tuned in right now, because I'm looking at the numbers right now. There's a lot of people that came in late, so salute to y'all. Please subscribe to the channel, and anybody that is watching this right now who came in late, you could go back and rewind this and watch the other episodes of Fight Night Chronicles over here. Just go back, hit the playlist, because we got 7 other episodes that's out right now. This one right here is what we're chronicling this fight right here, episode 8, the super fight with Mr. Marvelous Marvin Hagler and Sugar Ray Leonard. That's what we're discussing here. So yeah, when we talk about this fight, and how boxing fans are now, right? And how they was then. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. And you made a point about saying how people call things boxing and things is running. He was fighting in this fight. He wasn't running. He was using movement. And before Hagler could come in there, the art of boxing is to hit without getting hit. And he was using that. He wasn't running, and he was throwing flurries. Maybe they wasn't hurting Hagler, because you see Hagler.
But they were scoring.
They were scoring. But they were scoring. It wasn't about hurting them. It was about scoring them and winning the boxing match. And to me,
I don't think for 1 minute Sugar Ray Leonard went into that fight thinking he was going to knock out Marvelous Marvin Hagler. You know, I know he's a very bright man. Mm-hmm. You know, he would have known that it would have taken a tremendous effort of biblical proportions to have knocked out Marvin Hagler. But he's smart. He showed for the very first time how a naturally smaller man could just outwork and use every bit of that ring to his advantage. And when he got fed up running or dancing or using his ring, as whatever people want to say it is, I personally think I agree with you, it's fighting. His fighting style.
He was boxing.
He was boxing.
The sweet
scoring.
He was scoring.
And 49% punch rate success. Right? Marvelous Marvin Hagler had a 37 punch success. And probably one of the most amazing stats out of this fight was the fact that Hagler actually landed more jabs. Now, Leonard's known for his jabs. The first 2 rounds in this fight, it was just jab coming around with the right hand over the top, combinations, popping them off. But it was always with the jab. It was only till the mid rounds that he started single shots, then combinations. But he sort of left the jab behind because he found other openings that Hagler was presenting him. But it was, I just can't get over how great a fight it was.
I think I cut you off when you was about to say, because you was leading to the first half of the rounds where Ray showed y'all the art of boxing, of hitting without getting hit, using the combination and outpointing him. And then you was going to transition into the second part of the fight where he sat down and he became more flat-footed and he sat down on his pocket and he showed you the heart and the dog that was inside of him as well. I think that's what you was alluding to, that you was going to go into before I cut you off.
You have to make a conscious decision half through that fight to stop your strategy that you had adopted in the first 6 rounds, to then suddenly say to yourself, well, I'm going to be taking a massive risk here by trading with this man. He had to have made a conscious decision to say, right, that's it. Let's go. I'm now changing. I'm going to start turning the screw on you. And what a mind F.U.C. You know what I mean? That must have been to Hagler. Knowing that this guy was dancing around, he was frustrating him for 6 rounds. And then all of a sudden, he's turned round to him and said, right, let's go. Let's have it. What you got, son? You know what I mean? And then bang, and they're trading off. Awesome. Boxing. Beautiful.
And like you said, the psychological part of this is like he was taking his best shots. He was taking his best shots, and he was still there. He was like, this was a guy who was supposed to be off for 3 years, and he's coming back and he's performing like this. This had to be a lot on his psyche as well. But a lot of people was like you said in the sport, like we'll talk about it now. We're gonna put up a poll or who you think win this fight, and a lot of people, a lot of our friends, a lot of our associates will go toe-to-toe with us and tell us that they thought that Marvin Hagler won that fight. That's one of those ones where it shows you how opinion-based, like you was alluding to earlier, that this sport truly is, Shout outs to both gentlemen. Both gentlemen are Hall of Famers, and they gave us great memorable moments in the sport that we love so much.
Yes.
So shout out to both gentlemen.
Absolutely. Part of you growing up, certainly was of mine. I've been privileged that I've seen the likes of the 4 Kings there I've seen Muhammad Ali on television as a young boy. I'm very privileged to have witnessed these things. And, if that had been happening today, Sugar Ray Leonard would have been labelled a runner. Instead of identifying, because nobody ever labelled boxers runners in the 80s. I can tell you that for nothing. There's no such thing as a runner in the 80s, or even decades before that.
Yeah.
It was boxing. This running business is a youth social media term that has come prevalent in the last few years. That was science. And if you can't understand that, you got no business in boxing.
You know what, Mr. Neutral, but to get back to your point, I think you know what it is. It happened when the fighters stopped fighting like the fighters of old. I don't mean to say that whole running thing, when like you would not see Ray circled around the ring 3 times without throwing a punch.
No,
you know what I'm saying? But you see the younger fighters today, they was circled around the ring 3 times without throwing a punch, and they would consider that being boxing. No, that's not boxing. If you go back and watch what Sugar Ray Leonard was doing, that was boxing. That was a different time. That was a different era. Sugar Ray was a dog. He frustrated guys in there. Guys was going, he'll get in there and pop, 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 pop. Guys would try to go, and he was not there. He was nowhere there. It wasn't like he had a slow output and nothing like that. No, he was there. They just couldn't touch him. And when they did touch him, he would cover up, he would shell up, he would hold, he would duck down. It was times that they couldn't get off on him because he was just that good. As we see, we was chronicling this fight right here.
Hagler, he threw something like 760 punches, and I said before he only had a 39% success rate. Leonard threw something like just over 600, and landed over 300. So he had a near enough 50% success rate, and it was that which almost Kazakh style, and it was it was a real eye opener. Nobody had ever done that to a boxer in that fashion, to an elite star like Marvin Hagler. And it just, the win was understated, immediately afterwards. But it's only today when you can go back and watch, and the general consensus is, when you watch that fight from start to finish, all 36 minutes of sheer science and brutality, when they decided to abandon the science and just slug it out, it makes you weep. The boxing joy tears. It was so good. You're quite right. There's people who label people, all kinds of, terrible names, runners and all the rest of it. But you've got to have the stats to back it up. The punch stats to back up the style. And Sugar Ray Leonard certainly backed it up.
Yeah, he definitely did, 100%. I want to thank everybody for tuning in with me and the Classy One, Mr. Neutral, for another episode of, you already know what it is, Fight Night Chronicles. This is the episode 8. And please, if you haven't seen the rest of our episodes, please go check it out. And we will be back next week with episode 9, where we will chronicle another fight, classic fight, a memorable fight. Mr. Neutral, let the people know. And before we go, make sure that you go and give a like to Red Corner Boxing. And while you're watching this, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel as well. Mr. Neutral, we got another one in the bag. How you feeling?
I feel great. And before any of you guys, make sure you give iBoxingHub a like and subscribe here if you're here for the first time. And if you're not a subscriber, please give that notification a press as well. And you'll get great content 7 days a week from these guys here at iBoxingHub. And it's just an absolute privilege for me to join my good friend, the Commissioner Trill Dollar Bill, for this show that we've been talking about for a long time to bring to the fans, and we did it, and now we're 8 episodes in. And the next one is going to be just as great. I can assure you that, ladies and gentlemen. But Trill, another great episode, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. They show these fights from my youth.
No need to thank me. I'm a fan. I love this sport from the bottom of my heart, and I just wanted to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for tuning in. Please like and subscribe, like my co-host, the classy with Mr. Neutral said, and we out of here. And we'll see you next Sunday. Fight Night Chronicles.
Yeah. Feels good. So, miss.